Hello everybody, this is Maya, and we are just now starting our Facebook Live. Let me just work on the lighting a little bit. That's a little bit better. This Facebook Live free class is all about empath survival tips. So I hope you will stick around and learn about some tips. We're also going to talk about what an empath is. So if you don't know what it is, or if you're not sure if you are one, we're going to go over that as well. So while we're waiting for everybody to join, I always like to do something interesting. So I'm actually recording inside today. I like to be outside as much as possible, but it's really windy today, and I know that would mess up the sound because the wind would be blowing through the microphone constantly. But I want to show you where I'm sitting because right on the other side of this camera is the window. I'm in my office right now in my treatment room. Actually, you can see back there. There's a treatment table and bookshelf and all my healing supplies, tuning forks over there, and other stuff. And now I'm going to show you the window that I get to look out. I don't know if you guys can see this. I don't know if you guys can see the prairie. It's really windy today. So that's my view. Oh, and hey, you guys get to meet Kitesh. Let's see if we can get her in the camera. Hey, hi, Barbara. Let's see if we can get her in. There we go. She is a very unique cat. You see this tail? She had a little accident when she was little, right before she adopted me. And she's a funny cat. She likes to be patted rather than rubbed. Anyway, so now some of you already know what to do when you join. Go ahead and tell us where you're joining from. And my cat is doing this thing where she keeps touching my leg like, hey, you were paying attention to me before. What's going on? You've got to keep paying attention to me. So tell us where you're joining from, and then also one word that describes how you're feeling right now. And this is the Empath Survival Tips Facebook Live class. We're going to be going over some important information here. And I decided I got to pet my cat so she'll stop digging her claws into me. Hello. Can you see the cat? Hello. Cat. She's famous. So as I was preparing for class, I realized I was like, oh, empath survival tips. Well, I should talk about my empath. Let me pull it up on my website. Should pull up my empath survival kit and talk a little bit about that in case you are wanting more than what I cover in this video. So I'm going to tell you how to find that if you want to be multitasking and look at that right now. It's at my website, which is www.psychicprotectionsanctuary.com, psychicprotectionsanctuary.com. And when you get to my website, there's a menu at the top, and there's one thing that says Need Psychic Protection, and you'll hover your mouse over that, and the second item down is the Empath Survival Kit, so go ahead and click on that. Okay, so we're going to pull that up together, and you'll see the information about that. Okay, so and if you scroll down, it's 49, oh, let me turn this down. There we go. It's $49 right now, and I actually opened up the kit that people buy. I was looking at it to give me ideas for what we're going to cover today, and I created this, I don't know how many months ago, was it like 6 months ago or 9 months ago? And as I was looking at it, I was like, damn, this is really good. This is really helpful, step-by-step information, very clear, and definitely helpful tips for empaths. And I looked at my website. I was like, only $49? This should be way more than that. This is a really good kit. There's audio recordings, guided meditations, all sorts of great tools. So what I realized is, oh my gosh, I'm definitely raising the price for this kit at the end of this week. So I'm just letting you all know that I'm going to be doing that, because right now it's $49 on my website, and I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just wanted to let you know so you will not miss out if you're wanting more, that you won't miss out on the really cheap price, because this is worth way more than that. Okay, so basically with this Facebook Live class, you're getting some little samples of the content that I cover in the kit. But this won't even do it justice, because the way that the kit is arranged, the Empath Survival Kit, it's like step by step and really organized. So this is going to feel a lot different. This is going to feel like a little sample here, a little sample here, a little sample here, and it will be helpful to you to go to watch this Facebook Live, but it will be even more helpful to go through the step by step and get the complete thing, just so you know. Okay, so before we jump into our class, let me go back and see who all we have with us. Anne is from Trail, British Columbia, Canada. And Sahela is joining us from Renton, Washington. And Sahela says her word for today is excited. Anne says, I'm happy with high pain and exhaustion. Oh, sorry to hear that. I totally understand. And Erica, tell us where you're joining from and what your one word is that describes how you're feeling today. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself again in case you just joined. I'm Maya Zahira, and I am the founder of Psychic Protection Sanctuary. Psychic Protection Sanctuary is both a real physical location here on the Kansas Prairie, and it's also it also has an online existence on my website, psychicprotectionsanctuary.com, where we have lots of classes and offerings on there too. So you can get involved in person here outside of the Kansas City area, on the beautiful Kansas Prairie, or I just got another comment here, or getting involved online, or some of both. One of the reasons why I started offering a lot more things online is because people all over the world need assistance with this, not just people in my local area. So I hope you'll check out the website, psychicprotectionsanctuary.com. And Erica says she's joining us from Burlingame, Kansas, and she's feeling determined. Awesome. Okay, so when I teach these Facebook Live classes, I've noticed that often I'll have two different kinds of classes. One format, we're doing a lot of sharing and brainstorming together. It's very interactive. And then another one of my formats is I'm going through a whole bunch of information and teaching and giving you info with opportunities for questions. So this class tonight is the first format where we're going to be doing some brainstorming together and discussion. So get your fingers ready, be ready to type and share. And we got a few more people joining us. Angela is joining from Lawrence, Kansas, feeling heavy-hearted. I'm sorry to hear that. One thing that I'm excited about is that I'm closer to Lawrence now, all my friends in Lawrence, which is not in the Kansas City area. For those of you who don't live around here, it's about 40 minutes away, so I'm like kind of in between, which is really cool. Lawrence is a really cool college town, very kind of hip hippie town, and I lived there for a while. I loved it. Belinda is watching. Welcome, Belinda. Okay, so as I mentioned, we're going to be doing a lot of interaction, and so I want you to get your fingers ready to type because now I'm going to be asking your first question, and we're all going to pitch in and give the answer. So the first thing that we're going to talk about before we even get into empath tips is what is an empath, because I'm going to assume there might be some people watching this live or later who don't know what an empath is, or who maybe aren't totally sure, or maybe you're not sure if you are an empath. And my guess is if you're watching this, you probably are, and you know that you are. But let's cover all the bases, okay? Beth, it says she's feeling exhausted and hurting. I'm sorry to hear that. There's definitely a lot of difficult energies going on right now, for sure. Okay, your fingers are ready. First question. Tell me, what is an empath? And I'm going to reword that question. Like, what are some of the qualities of an empath? What's an empath? What are some of the qualities of an empath? What makes someone an empath? Okay, or if you are an empath, why are you an empath? What is it about you that makes you an empath? Okay, so go ahead and start typing. And if you are watching this later, I want you to think about the answer to this question right now as well. And while I'm waiting for the answer, I was actually going to set my phone up. I'm recording on my phone. I was going to set it up with my stand. I have this little stand that I use. Some of you know I moved in here a month ago. It was actually a month ago. It feels like less time than that because time has really flown. And I have a lot of stuff unpacked and set up, but the one thing that I haven't unpacked is this one cabinet that had a bunch of my office stuff in it. And guess what's in that is my stand. So I'm holding my device right now. So after a while, my hand is going to get tired. I'm going to have to wobble it around. So sorry for the wobbling. I know you will all deal with it just fine. Okay, so let's answer our question. Okay. Angela says, in answer to what is an empath, ability to feel the emotions and energy of others. Yes, the emotions and energy of others. Now, there's different kinds of empaths, and I go through. Let me look at my empath kit here. I actually go through, let's go to the top. I'm actually looking at it right now. I'm going to see if you all can, I don't know if you'll be able to see my computer screen or not. It's going to be too dark. Never mind, I tried. Can't say I didn't try. Okay, so I'm just looking up how many empath types I have on here because I'm trying to remember. Okay, the 10 there, I have listed 10 different types of empaths in the kit, and I'm not going to go into all of them today. That's not what I want to focus on for this class, but just know that an emotional empath is different than a physical empath, and there are many other types of empaths. There are 10 different kinds. So emotional empath is one kind. That's probably the most common that we think about when we think of empaths. And Beth says, there we go. I hadn't read your comment yet, I promise. It says, depends on what kind of empath you are. Yeah, exactly. And Beth says, I can feel a room. So what do you mean by that? How do you feel it? What do you feel? Okay, if you feel like you want to answer that, go ahead. Let me know. Type some more. Belinda says, completely off topic, but holy geez, you have slimmed down, looking good, Maya. Aw, thank you. Thanks. I don't know what to say about that. Thank you. I'm going to practice receiving compliments graciously, and I'm trying not to blush. Thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate it. And Belinda, what she's saying is an extension of a conversation. I'm just going to insert a little teachable moment, and then we'll get back to our lesson, okay? So those of you who follow me on Facebook know, I can see I'm blushing. So silly. What a silly girl. Those of you who've been following me on Facebook, I've talked about how since I've moved in here to this new place that has very different energy and energy that's a lot more beneficial for me, I have lost a lot of weight. I wouldn't say, like, most of it's been up here in my upper body. I'm still waiting for the lower body to weight to drop, but that's, it takes time for the body to do things naturally. But the thing is that the last place that I lived, I moved there 3.5 years ago, and my health plummeted, and all this weight packed on my body, even though I'm eating exactly the same now as I was then, healthy plant-based diet. And I won't go into too much detail on this class, but I'll just say that there were things about that living situation that were not beneficial for me, and this ties in with psychic protection. If you are living in an environment or working in an environment that doesn't have very good energy, or if someone is sending you psychic attack, then it can affect your emotions, it can affect your body, it can affect your health, it can even make you gain a lot of weight. Your body protects itself by adding fat and or retaining a lot of water to cushion you. So I'm just bringing that up, just having a little teachable moment here, since Belinda mentioned it. You might be able to relate or think of times in your life where you were around a lot of negative energy and it affected you either emotionally or physically or even with your body weight. And then when you moved yourself out of that environment, it was like night and day, like a little miracle, right? Okay, so back to our topic here. What is being an empath? What is it to be an empath? Anne says, to sense the feeling of others or feel them. Yes, that's right. Sahela, I feel other people's feelings and energies. I'm extra sensitive. Yeah. So talking about being an emotional empath. And also I feel spirits, have visions and dreams. So you are also an empath when it comes to spiritual energies and spirits, so you can feel what they're feeling or tune into them. So that's another type of empath. Okay, scrolling down. Beth says, mostly I can walk into a room and know what has been happening in it before I got there. Okay, so Beth can empathically sense emotions and other kinds of activities even when the people aren't around. So some empaths will sense things, I'll just say, like real time, like if someone is there right then, they feel that person's emotions or that person's physical issues. And Beth is talking about, like, even after all those people are gone, she'll be able to walk in that room and empathically feel the emotions and maybe even feel some physical issues going on with the people that were in the room. So that is also an extension of being an empath. Definitely. I also can sense people's feelings and energy, and I've had a few prophetic dreams. Yeah, yes. So the prophetic dreams would be more one of your intuitive abilities, but that's not necessarily about being an empath. It's a great gift. And I think a couple of other people mentioned a few things here and there that are just more intuitive skills, intuitive abilities. Being an empath, so let me just narrow it down. Being an empath means that you can sense the energies of other people, either people or animals, or other kinds of living things, plants. So you can feel their emotions. So some people are more emotional empaths. Some people are more physical empaths in that they can feel the physical pain, or if there's some imbalance in someone's body, they can feel it, or a person or an animal or what have you. And there are also people, I'm just kind of like smushing this all together. I'm not going through all 10 empath types, but there are also people who can feel they can feel when there's like a natural disaster on the earth, or when there's a natural disaster getting ready to happen, or when it's just happened and they haven't even heard the news yet, but they can feel it. Maybe they start having an anxiety attack, or they feel really depressed, or they feel a sense of impending doom. That's because they're tuned into they're empathically tuned into the natural environment of the planet. And then other people might be tuned in to global kinds of events, like, if there's a shooting across the other side of the world, might have a horrible feeling before or during while it's happening. And that's because you're tuned in empathically to that thing happening. Okay. So there's lots of different kinds of empaths, and we normally think of the emotional empaths, and I think we'll be focusing on that for the most part during this class. But all the suggestions that I'm going to give you will fit with all of the different kinds of empaths. Okay, so there's 10 different kinds. We're not going to go over all of them. You'll need to get the Empath Survival Kit if you want to learn about all 10. Okay, so I am actually going through because I want to make sure that I cover everything. Okay, so we talked about what it means to be an empath. Just wobbling my phone here. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go through 5 different tips for helping you with your sensitivities. Actually, before we do that, let's talk about what are some of the side effects. Like, why do we need tips for survival? What is it about being an empath that's hard? What is it that's uncomfortable, or what's the reason why you need tips? Okay, so go ahead and share right now. What happens to you? What happens to you when you're struggling with your empathic abilities? What's going on? There's some discomfort. If those of us who are empaths are needing tips for survival, right? So let's talk about what those are before we go into our first tip. Okay. All right. So we're just going to wait because I want y'all to share. And while you're doing that, while I'm waiting, I'm going to get a drink. So if you're waiting too, you can get a drink too. Sorry for the slurping. I didn't mean to do that. Keeping it real, as I like to say. Okay, so some of the symptoms, some of the side effects of being an empath. Belinda says extreme fatigue and brain fog. Yes. So let's say you're around somebody. Let's say you're around a negative environment. You could feel really tired or brain foggy. Or if you're around somebody, a person who has a lot of charged emotions, then you might feel extreme fatigue or brain fog. Phyllis is saying, I can get overwhelmed and become depressed easily. Yep, I can relate to that. All of what you guys are saying, actually. Sahela says, I get tired, I feel sad or other emotions, depression, physically too. So Sahela, what do you mean? Like physically what? What's going on physically? Anne says, I can be overwhelmed by feeling the person's emotions. Now, those of you who might have physical issues where you have chronic fatigue or some other exhaustion-related illness, then it's even more important that you learn some management skills, some energetic management skills for your empathic abilities, because energy level is already an issue if you have an exhaustion related illness like chronic fatigue syndrome or similar. And so if your energy is getting drained really easily due to a physical condition, and then you go out into the world and your energy is like zapped or totally disrupted by other people or situations around you, then you're going to be flat on your back. So it's really important to work on energy management. And I know this. I know this is important because I have some of those struggles as well. So Sahela says digestion is affected by emotions. Okay, yeah, I totally get that. Okay, so now we're going to do some brainstorming on our 5 tips for empath survival. So the first couple are pretty simple. So I mentioned that they're pretty simple because I don't want you to write them off. One of the things that I notice is people are like, oh, yeah, I know that. I know that. But are you really doing it? Because if you're struggling with your empathic abilities, then you probably could stand to do more of these first 2. So the first tip is doing regular clearing, clearing your energy on a regular basis. So let me just scroll down on our kit here. Okay, so in the kit I give several suggestions on easy ways to clear your energy, but let's do some brainstorming right now. What are some ways, some simple ways that you can clear your energy? So go ahead and type right now, just brainstorm right now. Looking at my cat. Okay, what are some ways? And if you're watching the replay, I want you to think right now, what are ways that you like to clear your energy? So once you've gone out in the world and you've been around some funky energy, what do you like to do to get your energy back to you? What do you like to do? Sahela says, being in nature. Definitely, me too. Okay, what else? Let's keep these ideas coming. What else? Walk barefoot in the grass. Yes, that definitely helps clear your energy. So walking helps clear your energy, and bare feet in the grass as well. Paula says showering while imagining golden light pouring over you. And those are 2 different, so you can do that together, but also showering in and of itself will clear your energy. Just taking a shower. Simple. And then also visualizing golden light or any color of light that you resonate with pouring over you, doing a little guided meditation, and that will clear your energy. Or you can combine the 2 like Paula is suggesting. Okay. So then Belinda is saying for ideas for clearing, Belinda is saying grounding and centering. I love meditation, salt baths, and creative expression like painting. Yes. Those are all great for clearing your energy. Anne is suggesting one of my favorites, which is deep breathing and drinking water and grounding. Yes. Deep breathing and drinking water are, and of course grounding. Those are probably my top 3 favorites. Sahela says breathe and drink water. Yes, great minds think alike. Phyllis, stay hydrated, and meditation. Yes, so all of those things can help to clear your energy. Those of you who do Reiki, you can also do self-Reiki or receive some Reiki. So that by default helps to balance your energy and then clear your energy as well. Okay, so there are a bunch of ideas in the Empath Survival Kit for clearing your energy, but I think we have also shared several here, and you can choose which ones work best for you. And then if you are feeling oversensitive as an empath, if you're feeling any kind of side effects, then you need to do some clearing, any kind of clearing right away, as soon as possible. So don't just do it once a week. And in fact, I recommend if you are having empath side effects, I would recommend at a minimum doing some kind of clearing in the morning and in the evening, and then more often if you need to. Okay, and you'll get so good at it that you'll be able to manage your energy just in a split second. So if it feels like it's taking a lot of maintenance to do that at first, just know that you'll be able to do it more quickly in the future because you'll get good at it. You'll get even better at it. And Paula, there we go. Sage, how about sage or Palo Santo? Exactly. One of the things that I do every morning to clear my energy is I burn sage. And then almost every evening I do something even more high powered to clear the energy from the day. So I might do burn frankincense and myrrh, or copal, or dragon's blood. Those types of dried resin kinds of incense that you burn on the charcoal disc, and it makes a lot of smoke. And it's very powerful, and it's even so powerful that they use it in exorcisms. So it's definitely going to clear everything out, and then so that you can sleep in a very protected area, because burning frankincense, etc., will not only clear your energy, but it permeates the whole space energetically. And it's very unlikely that anything negative is going to come in, within at least a day of you burning that. Okay, so we've shared a lot of good ideas for clearing. Very regular clearing is necessary as an empath. And then another really important thing to do as an empath is grounding. So remember, I said these first two tips, clearing and grounding, are like obvious, right? We already know this. Like, oh yeah, of course I need to clear and ground. No duh. I need to do that, right? But how often are you doing it? How often are you having empath side effects and then not thinking to ground when you start to not feel well, or your head starts to get fuzzy, or you start to get that stomach ache? Okay, so let's brainstorm some ways that you can ground. And let's see here. Okay, so let's take a second and let's brainstorm some ways that you like to ground. I've got a big long list of suggestions in the Empath Survival Kit. But why don't you tell me, what's your favorite way to ground? What do you like to do on a regular basis to ground your energy, to get yourself connected to the earth so you're not all scattered? And go ahead and type in your answer right now. And if you're watching the replay, I want you to think of whatever way you like to ground, because I'm going to challenge you to start doing it more often, like if you can, every day, because it's going to help you tremendously. One of the reasons why empaths have so much trouble with having side effects is because, because being an empath, you feel all this stuff, and then it throws you off, so you become ungrounded. And then when you become ungrounded, you then are affected even more by everything that you're picking up empathically. So it's just this like snowball effect. So you have to ground. Okay, so Paula says yoga. Yes, yoga is great for grounding. And you also say using crystals. So some crystals will be more beneficial for clearing your energy or for other types of things. And some crystals are most beneficial for grounding. So Paula, tell me what crystals you like to use for grounding, especially when you're having empath side effects. And Sahela says hike in the forest or do earthing. Yes. Okay, so does anyone use essential oils to ground? If you do, what oils do you like to use to ground? Okay, and there's actually a whole bunch of other ways that you can ground, but I'm not going to give it all away. It's listed in the Empath kit. All right, looking at my notes here. So those are the first two tips. Like I said, they're very simple, but you have to do them. Anne says, barefoot in the grass, but soon it will be too cold with snow. Walking out in the snow with boots on, I assume. Hey, kitty. Yes, I'm trying to teach a class. And your claw is in my leg. Okay. She is a lovey cat. Okay, so let's go on to empath tip number 3. And I'm just going to touch the surface of these last 3. And we go a lot deeper into it in the kit. But I know you're going to get some good information here in this video. Phyllis says that one of the oils that she likes to use for grounding is clary sage. Nice. There's a lot of different choices. Yeah. Okay, so tip number 3 is discerning the energies around you. No, let me reword that. How to discern energies. Is it yours or not? Okay, so how to discern energies and feelings within you. That's the third tip. Learning to discern the energies. Okay, so here's what I mean by this. You're going through your day and all of a sudden you feel really depressed. Is it yours? Is it your depression, or are you picking up on somebody else's depression or some other issue? Okay. So with practice, you'll be able to discern whether or not it is yours. Here's another example. You're going through your day and all of a sudden you have a stomach ache out of the blue. Or you have a headache out of the blue, or you feel dizzy, or your ears start ringing, or you feel a twinge, pain in your side, or suddenly your knee hurts, or something like that. So it'll be up to you to discern, is that yours, or are you picking up on something else in your environment from another person or another situation? Okay. So the magic question that you will ask is this mine, or is this coming from somewhere else? Okay. So even just having the intention of practicing discernment, whether it's yours, is this mine, or is this coming from somewhere else? Even just having the intention to be more aware of that is super helpful. Now, I take you through a process to help you learn how to discern which energies are yours and which are not in the Empath Survival Kit. But I want to tell you that, again, I want to emphasize again, that just having the intention and the clarity that you're going to be practicing discernment, what's yours, what's not yours, that's going to help a lot. So as you're going through your day, you're going to, when you start to feel something all of a sudden that you didn't feel before, then you're going to be thinking, oh, is this mine or is it not mine? Because a lot of times what empaths do is they just feel overwhelmed all the time, and they're not taking a moment to breathe and say, oh, maybe what I'm feeling, this anxiety attack that suddenly came on, maybe that's not even mine. Okay, so they're just so busy being overwhelmed that they don't stop and go and just ask that question, oh, this isn't mine. So if it's not yours, you can actually practice just letting it go. You say, oh, it's not even mine. And then you just breathe and you just let that energy just come out your crown chakra, or maybe you want it to go down your body and down into the earth. It's not mine. So think of it this way. It's not mine. It's simply information. So you don't have to take it so personally, like, oh my gosh, this energy is taking over, it's bombarding me. No, it's just information. Once you realize that it's just information, it just flows right out. Because once you realize that it's just information, you are not in resistance. When you're trying to resist all this stuff coming in, then that makes it stick even more. So if you go, oh, it's not mine, it's just information about what's going on with the person next to me, and I'm just going to let it go. Now that I've received that information, I don't have to hold on to it. So this is big. I've just explained to you that you can give yourself permission to not have to hold on to whatever you're picking up on. I'm giving you permission. You can give yourself permission to not have to hold on to it. It's literally all it is just information. Okay. Phyllis is saying that can be a little tricky. For me, I have to ask if the emotion is more intense than how I would normally react in that situation. Yeah, so it does take practice to learn to discern what's yours and what's not yours. And it's an ongoing practice for sure. Paula says, that is such a wonderful explanation that is going to help me a lot. I'm really glad that's helpful to you. Awesome. Okay, so let's go on to tip 4. Okay, so I'm scrolling through our kit. What I've done is I've picked a sample of some different things from the kit, and I've just brushed over some basic info. And so I haven't even covered all of the tips that are covered in the Empath Survival Kit. There's a lot of tips. I just picked the ones that I felt like would be most useful to you all, and that are not as there's some that go a lot more in depth that would not be, it wouldn't work for this class because we're just giving little samples, right? So there's a lot more information in the kit, then we go a lot deeper. Okay, oops, I think I did this the other way around. So the 4th tip, scroll, is making sure that you cut cords. Energy cords are filaments of energy that are connected from you to other people. It could be coworkers, it could be family members, it could be your significant other, it could be people from past relationships, and even energy cords attached to past places that you've lived, or even things that you've owned, or past situations. But when we think, most of the time when we think of energy cords, we think of cords of energy attached to, from us to other people. And it's important that you do a regular clearing of that. So we talked about clearing, but one specific thing that you want to work on clearing and keeping nice and clean is all of your energy cords. So any energy cords that are not beneficial for you, for example, anyone who's trying to be controlling towards you might have energy cords hooked in. Anyone that with whom you might have a toxic relationship, you want to clear those. Anybody who's what we often call an energy vampire, anybody who whenever you talk to them or whenever you're around them, you just feel exhausted afterwards because they're sucking your energy. You want to make sure that you cut all of those cords. Okay. There's actually, I'm certain that if you go to YouTube has all sorts of amazing like guided meditations. So if you were to go to YouTube and just type in cord cutting guided meditation, I know you'd find some things. So you could listen to a free guided meditation on there. I can't promise you what you're going to find in your search, but if you're not sure how to do cord cutting, you could do a guided meditation, and that would be important to do about once a week. If you're an empath, you want to do it about once a week or more if you feel like you need it, just to keep your energy clean and clear. Now, in the empath kit, I actually walk you through exactly how to do a cord cutting, and I take you through a personal evaluation so you can figure out whose cords you need to cut. And there's also a guided meditation as well. There's a couple guided meditations in the kit made by me, because I love making guided meditations and I'm really good at it. By the way, all the guided meditations that are in the kit, they're all what I would call channeled, in that they were channeled from my inner wisdom, we'll say, channeled from my higher wisdom. I did not write out a script for these. I pressed record and came from my higher wisdom. So these are pretty great guided meditations. So it's important to cut cords, to make sure that that you're not leaking energy, because if there's energy cords, you're leaking energy, and also receiving energy, negative energy, empathically from those people still. And if you are someone who has anxiety or depression, sometimes some of that anxiety or depression could be possibly not yours, but stuff, even if you're alone in your house, those energy cords are still hooked in, and you could still be feeling the other person's anxiety, depression, even anger. Okay, and Phyllis says, remind myself that it's not mine and I don't have to carry it. Yes. And Phyllis also says, divine download. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Divine download. That's what those guided meditations are. Okay, so we have our fifth tip. And this one tends to blow some people away if they haven't heard of it before. So if you're an empath, and you, like I said, let's say you're, let me back up and say, a lot of us understand that if you're an empath and you go into a crowded room, that can be really difficult, and you can feel depressed and anxious and overwhelmed, or stomachache, headache, exhaustion, brain fog, all of that stuff. But some people who are empaths will also feel that way even if they're just alone in their house or just going through their day, no matter where they are, feeling overwhelmed with thoughts and emotions and so on. And the reason for that is because of something called the collective consciousness. The collective consciousness. The collective consciousness is the energy and the emotions and the thoughts of not just one person, but of a whole group. So it can be, excuse me, it can be the collective consciousness of your workplace, of your neighborhood, of your city, of your country, of the whole planet, the whole human race. Okay? So if there's a lot of fear in the collective consciousness, then you might be picking up on it and be feeling like you're going to have an anxiety attack. Or if there's a lot of anger, you might be feeling angry and not have any, and not understand why you're feeling angry, because there's no reason why you should feel angry. It's because you're picking up on the energy of the collective consciousness. Okay, so again, it can be the collective consciousness of like your workplace. So that's a smaller community, or the collective consciousness of the entire frickin' human race. Okay, so that can be overwhelming. So we already talked about cutting cords. I want you to think about if you were to have energy cords not just hooked in from one person, but an energy cord from the collective consciousness of all of humanity, or of your country that's all upset right now, or what have you, and that whole collective is like hooked in, or hooked in right here, or hooked in back here, or hooked into your stomach, and you're just like, it's like a broadcast. Imagine that like a radio frequency is broadcasting towards you all the time. So let's say that you already have issues with anxiety, for example. If you're also connected with the collective consciousness, and there's all this anxious energy going on in the collective consciousness, then yes, you may have already had your own issues with anxiety, but it's going to multiply. It's going to increase that anxiety like tenfold. So now, tip number 3, I said practice discerning which energies are yours and which energies are not yours. Tip number 5 is becoming more aware of the collective consciousness. So there are times when you might be feeling your own stuff, but there are times when what you're picking up on is energy from the collective consciousness. So maybe not the person sitting next to you. It's not from the person sitting next to you. It's from the whole collective. Okay? And so this also ties in with cutting cords, because if I realize, I'm really, the collective consciousness of fear is really plugged in to me right now. I can feel it, or I suspect that it's the case, because I'm feeling way more fear than I should, than would be logically reasonable. And so I will imagine just like unplugging that, sending it back, because I don't want to be plugged in to that collective consciousness. Okay, so yes, we're all connected on the planet. We do want to continue to be connected with one another. We don't want to be unplugging like in every way possible, but you don't want to be plugged into the collective consciousness of fear on the planet, or the collective consciousness of anger or corruption, or like fill in the blank, all of the collective energies that are going on right now. You could certainly be plugged into the collective consciousness of love and compassion and togetherness and all of that. But as an empath, whether you're an empath or not, you don't want to be plugged into the negative energies of the collective consciousness, because that's just even more overwhelming. Okay, so we've got our 5 tips. Clearing, regular clearing, regular grounding, discerning which energies are yours and which are not yours, cutting cords regularly, and recognizing when you are connected to negative aspects of the collective consciousness. Okay. Okay, so Paula says, I try to imagine Archangel Michael and his sword helping me cut the cords. Yes, that's a great suggestion. So it's very, very popular for people to call in Archangel Michael to assist with cord cutting. He's great at that, and I like using Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael, because Archangel Michael is, you can imagine him slicing those cords with his sword, and then Archangel Raphael is the healing angel, so he will come in and seal any damaged tears, tears or holes in your aura, so that it's if you remove energy cords and you don't heal that area, then it's very easy for those cords to reattach. So Archangel Raphael is great for healing. Okay, so now we're almost done. Do we have any questions before we are done for the evening? And while I wait for any questions or other thoughts, I'm going to give you my website again. So grab a pen if you need it. www.psychicprotectionsanctuary.com. And if you're interested in finding out more about the Empath Survival Kit, I invite you to go to my website, psychicprotectionsanctuary.com, and then look at the top. There's a menu at the top. I see some questions coming in. That's good. And under the tab Need Psychic Protection, the second choice down should be Empath Survival Kit. Click on that and you'll find out more. And it's actually, right now, for the rest of this week, it's $49. But seriously, people, this is a really, really good comprehensive kit. And let me just, I can't remember how many, I just want to check here how many. We've got some audios at the end. And I only covered a few of the tips. There's a bunch in here. I covered some of the more basic tips because there's some, oh my gosh, actually there's an entire daily energy clearing protocol that I teach you. I teach you how to do my grid of protection process that I teach all of my students. But the daily energy clearing protocol, I teach it to you step by step, every single, just all of it. Okay, the audio recordings, there's 3 audio recordings, meditations. First one is daily clearing and protection guided meditation. The next one is a quickie daily clearing. So it's a shorter version of the daily clearing. So if you, the first meditation is 30 minutes. The second meditation is a 7-minute version of the 30-minute one for people who don't have 30 minutes every morning to do it. And the third one is, the third audio is a grounding meditation. It's a guided visualization for grounding. And you get access to all of those. So those 3 audios plus the whole kit. It's just an amazing kit. I really think more people should have access to this. So I hope that you take advantage of it. And do we have any questions? I don't see any questions coming through. Okay, everybody. It was, I was very honored and I'm happy to share this information with you and share this time with all of you. So good to see all of you on here. And if you think of any questions later, then be sure to just send me a private message. And just a quick blurb about the Psychic Protection Sanctuary. If you're watching this this video maybe on YouTube, we have a private Facebook group called Psychic Protection Sanctuary. So if you go to Facebook and just type in the search bar at the top, Psychic Protection Sanctuary. This is the only Facebook group that has that name, and it's a free group for the community. I only let people join who answer the questions. You have to answer a few questions before you join, because I don't want like robots or spammers or whatever trying to join. So it's a really great positive group, and we have a Facebook Live class every first and third Monday. So remember that, every first and third Monday at 6 p.m. Central. we have a Facebook Live class. So join us again in a couple of weeks for another free class. And we've got a couple of comments. Paula says, thank you for wonderful and helpful tips. And Sahela says, thank you so much. Well, thanks, everybody. I will see you next time. Have a great night. Bye.